Good morning everyone, anytime that you're watching this, it's lovely to have you all here. This morning we're going to make a cup of chai tea. Actually we're going to make two, so Grace and I can both have one. And I want to help you to make the best chai tea possible. We make a chai tea mix here at the studio that is wonderful chai tea mix that was inspired by my doctor in New Zealand, Dr. Ajit. And we sell it in packages, and when you put it out in your container it looks like this, and it has a lot of different herbs in it. What I'm going to do is show you how to make this with this mix and tell you about each of the ingredients that are in it and why this chai tea is so fabulous for you. So I'm going to put the chai tea on, and then while it's cooking I'll talk to you about all the benefits of it. So the first thing is, in our little saucepan, I have around 700 mils of water in there. And I put that on, and I've got that on, and I'll start it boiling away. Then the first thing that we put into there is some fresh ginger. So that doesn't come in the mix. We want the ginger fresh in the mix, so in your chai tea, so it's not going to come in the mix for you. You don't have to peel the ginger, but this one's a little bit old and sad. It's just not as fresh as I'd like it. So I'm going to peel some of the skin off that. And then just doing a few slices. You want about 3 or 4 slices of ginger. I'm going to put that in the water and let it start boiling. And you can have that boiling for a few minutes before you add the other if you've got the time. But the idea of this is that you can make it 10 minutes. It's from beginning to end is 10 minutes and you're done. Okay, and then the next thing that I'm going to add is 2 teaspoons of the chai tea mix. And I'm going to put it into the mortar and the pestle because we've got these fresh cardamom pods in there. I'm going to talk to you about those in a minute. And we want to bruise those, and probably the other herbs as well, just to make them release all of their qualities better. And then the other thing that I'm going to add to that is 2 black cardamom pods. Again, these aren't in your mix and they aren't essential, but I love them, and they will give you an extra strong hit of cardamom, and I'll tell you about the qualities of that in a little while. So with that, you don't have to squash it with a mortar and pestle, it just makes it a little bit better and more delicious if you do. You don't have to. If you're just going, all I've got is I've got the mix, I don't have the black cardamom, it's still going to be absolutely wonderful. But this is a little bit more, and it's not over squashing them. It's just, and I probably can show you this. So all I've done here is just opened up the pods. So you could do that with your hand, even just open up the pods so the seeds come out, and then I'm going to pour that in on the top. Okay, now I want this to come to the boil, and I want to simmer it for about 5 minutes. So I'm just going to leave that there and let it do its thing, and while it's doing that I'm going to talk to you about all of the ingredients. So we've separated all of them out here, and I've got them all in their little containers. The first one that I want to talk about is ginger, and the ginger, sorry, I don't know why that did that. The ginger we put in first, and ginger is a really wonderful herb. We call all of these herbs, we don't say herbs and spices in Ayurveda, they're all called herbs. So ginger will help your digestion. It's one of the best herbs for your digestion. It's you'll know when you eat it that it's quite hot. If you put ginger in your mouth, it'll feel hot in your mouth. So that heat helps your digestive fire. So it brings up this digestive fire element within us and helps us to get our appetite going. And when that happens, then we release the digestive enzymes into our stomach so that we can digest the food that's in there. So one of the most important things about ginger is that it aids your digestion. Then the other thing, because it's got this scrapey ability, it scrapes out the armour or the toxins out of all the channels of your body. So it sort of gathers up all the gunk and helps it to be moved out of the body. So it's a really good detoxifier. And with that, the way that it scrapes out the gunk, you can imagine if it's scraping out the gunk, They say ginger is also good for arthritis. So if you think about that scraping out the gunk, and arthritis is this build-up of uric acid in your joints. So it's scraping that gunk out and helps to move it out of the body. And of course then we say it's good for joint pain. So arthritis and joint pain, because it's getting rid of that gunk. And with the heating up of your digestive system and the getting rid of the junk, it also helps in your proper elimination, so helps your bowel movements work properly as well. And also helps the transporting of nutrients through all of the channels of your body in that same way that it's picking and gathering things up and moves them along. So that's another really good benefit. Right, the next one is cinnamon, which is the one that I didn't put out here. So if you hang on with me 2 seconds, actually I'll find some in the mix. So we've done the cinnamon bark. There you go. And the cinnamon, you want a really good quality cinnamon, and you can see that that's it's not too hard. You can still break it, and yeah. So there's different quality cinnamons. You want a really good quality cinnamon, and we use a great organic cinnamon in there. Cinnamon is really good for your heart. It purifies your blood and it strengthens your heart. It lowers your blood sugar levels, so it's great for diabetics. It strengthens your immune system, and if you think about how good it is for your blood and how good it is for your heart and your digestive system as well, then this is all going together to help your digestive system, your immune system to build up. With a few of these herbs, quite a few of these herbs are pungent, which means that they have like a kapow factor. I like to think of it as like a cannonball, and they'll go through and they'll push out the gunk from your body, which was the ginger has that pungency, and with cinnamon, and we'll also find it in the cardamom as well, it clears out any mucus and phlegm. So it burns the mucus and clears the phlegm. So if you've got a cold or a cough, it's going to be really good to get rid of that. And also you might be someone who has a postnasal drip and you've always got that gunk sort of at the back of your throat. So cinnamon's a really great herb to get rid of that. Also really good for asthma too, if you're an asthmatic. And you know, you can use it in this, but you can use it in other things as well. Also another thing that it does, because of its sweetness, it will bring some moisture to your mouth. So it's good if you've got if you have dryness in your mouth or if you get thirsty. So cinnamon's a great thing for that. I'm just going to have a look at our water. It's just starting to come to the boil. We want it to boil pretty rapidly. I'll turn on the light here so we can even see it a bit better. So it's just starting to come to a boil, and once it starts boiling, we want it to boil quite strongly. So here we go. You can see how that's coming up. And when it boils, what we're doing is all of those qualities that I'm talking about with the spices and what they actually do, that's actually quite a good speed. Turn down a tiny little bit as it starts to come to the boil. Okay. And we want those qualities to come out so that then they're effective in your body. I hope that you're actually doing this at home and you're all going to be able to have a cup of chai with us at 10:30 when it's all done. Otherwise, you know, later on in the afternoon, or not, you know, at night time, not so good, because you've got the tea and it's got the caffeine in it, unless you use decaffeinated tea. Okay, so we've done the ginger and we've done the cinnamon. So let's move on to the cardamom. I just wrote some little notes down so I wouldn't forget what to tell you about. So the cardamom, we've got in this mix, in the mix you get the green cardamom pods. So that's these ones. So these ones here. Thank you. Yep. So you get the green cardamom pods in the mix, but I also like to include the black cardamom pods. And you can get those, we sell them here, but you can also get them at an Indian grocer's. And very excitingly, we're starting to sell all of our chai mix online from next week. So we'll send out a Facebook notification of that, and it will also be on our website. So you'll be able to buy it online, and you can choose to have some black cardamom with that as well. So the cardamom, just going to squash one of those open so you can see. So inside the cardamom, there's cardamom pods, and they're in both of them, the black cardamom and the green cardamom. So you'll see, I don't know if you can see that. I'll do the black one. It's bigger. So you'll see, but they're both the same. They've both got the pods in them. That's pretty violent, isn't it? Okay. So in this one, you can really see the pods, the really big pods that are in there. Seeds, sorry, that are in the pods. So there you go. Now those, they're great. Now if you wanted to clear your mouth out and stop bad breath, if you just had the green cardamom pod, so you could get one out of your mix and just chew one after you eat, and it's going to be fabulous for clearing out any stale taste that you have in your mouth and clearing any any of that residue away. So it's really, really great for bad breath. But what you'll also notice is when you chew it, it will clear out all of your respiratory system. So it clears out your sinuses, you'll be able to breathe better, and it's again, there's that pungency that just opens up all of the airways. Because of that pungency, or because of that clearing, it's also going to clear the pathway down to your stomach, and in that way we're going to relieve acidity and any heartburn. The stimulation from that heat is going to be good for your digestion as well, so it's going to improve your digestion, purifies the blood and strengthens the heart. So cinnamon and cardamom are both really, really good for your heart, so they're a great thing for both of those. Okay, next one. Fennel. So fennel is this seed. So it's quite a good size seed, the fennel. Now fennel is has a real sweetness to it, which is cooling. So it has a cooling effect. It helps with premature aging, and it's an anti-cancer herb, and it also reduces any viral infections. It helps your red blood cells to form, and it also has potassium in it, and that potassium is really good for keeping your heart rate at the right speed. So if you have arrhythmia, then it's a really good herb to use to help your heart to stay in that right, in toning the heart and keeping it at the right speed. So it tones the heart, but it will also tone the skin, and because it's a little bit cooling, it will help with any skin irritation that you might have. So if you've got any inflammation or irritation on your skin, it will help with that as well. And again, that calming or that cooling will help with any menstrual cramps, or if you have any clotting in your periods, then it will help with that as well. And it will also help with hot flushes too. And the other thing that it does that we all love is it burns fat. So it helps to break down the fat and burn the fat, and also helps to reduce cholesterol levels as well. So there's lots of fabulous things for fennel, and it's such a little seed. Who'd have thought it? Okay. Then the next one is the cloves. Cloves you're probably familiar with. Grandma used to put them in the apples when she cooked the apple tart. And they've been around for a really long time, and even in our Australian heritage, they've been around for a long time in our cooking. One of the best things that cloves were known for was for toothache, you can still just chew on a clove if you've got a toothache. Is a great thing to do. They are an analgesic, so they're a painkiller, so they'll get rid of the pain. And in that way, actually, they're also good for rheumatism, so any pain in your body as well. So having that analgesic effect anywhere in your body, so sore throat, also really good for anything where we have pain, it's going to help that. So they're they're an analgesic, and they're also antibacterial and antifungal, so they help to cleanse the body and get rid of any bacterial things that are causing problems. Okay, they're heating, they help in weight loss as well. Improve your digestion. They're antispasmodic, so they help with vomiting, and they're also good for gas. And again for respiratory functioning and clearing out this part of your body. How's our boiling away going? So the reason that we keep boiling this is we really want to intensify the qualities. And so if you use just a tea bag, and I was thinking about you know, the types of chai we do, and since chai, people go, you know, chai is really good for you, and so they've gone to the chai latte instead of the coffee. So I'll have a chai latte. The chai latte, unfortunately, is made from a lot of sugar and maybe a little bit of cinnamon and maybe some cardamom, maybe some ginger if you're lucky, you know, or, you know, 1 or 2 different herbs that are fairly well refined, but mostly it's sugar, and it's usually made with homogenized milk. So the chai latte really isn't a good option, so I'd probably cross that off your list of thinking that you're having a health drink, because it's probably not doing you any good. Then the next thing we go to is a tea bag, so we'll get a chai tea bag, and again that will have some black tea in it. It'll have, again, you know, you might have cinnamon. You tend to see cinnamon, cardamom and ginger as the 3 things that go in there mostly. So you don't get much. And you can see how much we're boiling this to bring out the qualities, and we don't have the tea in there yet because we don't want to boil the tea because that brings out too much of the tannins and the caffeine and things that we don't want, the lesser qualities of the tea. And we just want to boil the herbs. Of course, you can't do this with a tea bag because it's all in together. So, you know, that's a better choice than your latte. But if you're really wanting the great benefits of chai, and this is one of the most detoxifying drinks that you can have, as well as being one of the most rejuvenating. So what we're making here is the detoxifying part, and then we're going to add the rejuvenation to it with the tea and the sugar and the milk. So if you want that, if you want all the health benefits of it, this is the best thing that you can do. Okay, so let's go on. We've had the cloves. The next one is ajwain. Which has disappeared off my list. There you go. I must have got rid of ajwain. But ajwain is a tiny, tiny little seed. I don't know if you can see that. It's a tiny, tiny little seed. Okay. One of the strongest qualities of ajwain is that it's an antispasmodic. So it stops spasms. So one of the ways to test ajwain is if you have the hiccups, and you just have a few seeds of ajwain, and it will stop them straight away. And I've got a great story about my sister who was visiting who had the hiccups, and I said, look, have some of this. She hadn't had ajwain before, got, you know, quite a bit, and ate it and went, wah, because it's really, really strong. But, you know, it did get rid of the hiccups. So it's really good for anything in Ayurveda that's a vata aggravation, and the hiccups are this backward movement of vata going the wrong way, and so the ajwain will calm that down. And then the same thing, in the same way, if we have any of the vata not moving properly through our body, so say you've got, again, it can be reflux happening, it will calm that down. You've got gurgling in your tummy. Again, I don't want to name too many of my family, but there's some of them who definitely have some gurgling in their tummy, so the ajwain is good for that. And any gas or bloating, so if after you eat you get a lot of bloating, then you know the vata isn't working properly, so that air in your body isn't moving the way that it should. So the ajwain will help that. And again, if you've got constipation, that's a blockage, that's a flow not going properly, and so the ajwain will help to clear that up, and it's a gentle laxative which will actually help to move that down and get the system working the way that it should. Yeah, ajwain's a great herb that's little known about. It's also really good for arthritis as well, and clearing out the gunk in the joints as well. Okay, I think that's probably been about 5 minutes. So I'm going to add to that, when you are doing this, so there's 2 of us, so we put in 2 tea bags, and you can use whole tea if you want to, you can use tea leaves. We just use tea bags because it's easier to take out. So what I'm going to do is put in the tea bags and the milk at the same time. Now you do this at the same time because the milk cuts the tannins in the tea. So you do it at the same time, and I'm going to take it back to the point that it was. Okay, so we've got our milk in there. Now we don't want to boil the milk. We're just going to bring it to, you'll see it, well, I'll show you. It's just a foam comes on the top of it. Now in that, you're going to add 4 teaspoons of sugar. So 2 teaspoons each. of sugar in here. And the sugar is, we use a raw sugar, so you want a raw sugar. You could use coconut sugar, you could use whatever sort of sugar you want really, as long as it's not refined. So the less refined it is, the better. And then we're just going to heat this up until that foam comes to the top. Okay, it's nearly there. The milk is really important. So this is an unhomogenized milk. It says here cream on the top and unhomogenized. Now I love that now this is more available, certainly in Cowra. I bought this from the Servo, which is amazing, the service station down the road. And you know, it wasn't many years ago and we were having trouble getting any unhomogenized milk in Cowra, and now, God bless the people that have shops in Cowra, we can get it at the Servo, which is amazing. There's a whole story about why unhomogenized milk, but just to very briefly tell you why. When we homogenize the milk, the fatty acids, so the fats on the fatty acid chain are broken down so small that our body can no longer digest them, and then they cause gunk in our body. So it's that same armor I was talking about before. Because we can no longer digest those fats, they've been changed, and they then go to become a toxic waste in our body. And that's why people might feel the phlegm coming up, the mucus, they might get a pain in their stomach, an irritation, maybe irritable bowel, you know, things like that. But if you do your milk unhomogenized, heated and spiced, it is one of the most nourishing foods that you can have. So good for your immune system. All right, so see here, it's just perfect. So see how we've just got that nice bit of foam on the top? So that's what you want. There's just that nice bit of foam, but it hasn't started boiling. All right, so I'm going to take it off. So we're done. And then what we do next, I'm going to put this on the table so you can all see it and try not to spill too much. So the next thing we want to do is we want to drain all those herbs off there. So we'll pour this through our strainer. Okay, perfect. So we've got all the herbs here, and you can't use those again, they are done. So we're going to get rid of those, get rid of the chooks, and we have the best eggs in the world at our place, because the chooks get all of the chai scraps and the ghee scraps. Very happy chooks. Okay, so I'm going to pour these into our chai cups. Beautiful. And I'm hoping you're at the same level at your place, doing exactly the same thing. These are the best chai cups in the world, perfect size. And then we've got our little yoga cookies there. We might have one of those with it as well. And with the chai, you would have 2 cups a day. You don't need to have any more than that. And don't have it at night time, because it does have that caffeine in it. But what you're going to get from drinking your chai is all of those benefits of all of those herbs that I just told you about. So you've got all of those herbs, they're in here, all there for you. You don't have to do anything except pop them into your hot water with some ginger, boil them up for 5 minutes, add 2 tea bags and milk and 2 teaspoons of sugar, and reheat it, and you're done. And the other thing I would do if I was at home, and I would do this in the morning if I knew I was going away for the day, I would do that. I'd pop it in my thermos and then I'd take it with me. 2 cups of chai a day, all those amazing things you're doing for your health. Thank you so much for being with us this morning, or if you're on later in the day, for watching. And you know, send through your comments about what you thought, share it with people, let people know how good it is and how good the real chai is. Like, this is so different to what we're scooping in powder out of a jar. So thank you, and happy chai. We're going to have ours now. Thank you, everyone.